Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to episode 2, Lunar Battle Let's Play series with pro tips. In our last episode, we shared a little bit of information in terms of some basic gameplay pro tips like inventory management and layout. And we're not going to go through those again in detail here because the link to that video is down below. If you want to check that out, highly recommend jumping over there, clicking that link. But for this specific episode, one of the big areas of confusion out there in the community right now is clarity. Specifically in terms of upgrading your houses. So we're going to take this episode to walk through that here in detail. You can see our colony is the same colony we showed in our first episode, but it's much more advanced now. We've been playing it since the last video. We've done a bunch of work off camera, and it's really starting to grow nicely. So you can see here we have a bunch of different levels of houses. We have some newer houses we've built up here, some upgraded houses that we have down here, and you can see all the different information. Well fed here, the bigger house. We have a total of 6 out of 6 residents. Their efficiency is 100%. We have to be happy to upgrade. We're not ready to upgrade these yet. Once they become happy, we will upgrade. Similar are these smaller houses up top. Now, some of the issues people are having with is they see that the mood is happy. They see that they have all the people they need. And they also see that the actual materials for upgrade are full, but they're confused as to why they cannot upgrade. Well, there are a couple of different pieces of criteria. The first and most important is the specific mission called engineering needs. In order to upgrade your small house, that mission needs to be complete. Because to upgrade, you need to have engineers. And you can't have engineers without that quest being complete. So take a minute to go check your missions to see how far along the storyline you are before you're opening up that specific mission to complete. The next piece of criteria is the mood. Well, your residents need to be happy. Third piece of criteria is the efficiency. They need to be 100%. If they're not 100%, not going to upgrade. And the last piece of criteria here are the required materials for upgrade that you can see down here below. All of these need to be full in order for your house to be upgradable, meaning you'll not see that little tiny arrow with the upgrade symbol, and you won't be able to click that because you won't see it. So be sure to pause this video at any time, rewind it back, re-listen to those specific steps and criteria you need to upgrade your houses, because there's been a lot of outreach on players being confused and a little frustrated on how they upgrade their houses. That's pro tip number 1. Pro tip number 2, use your boost. Okay, so we explained about min-maxing and inventory management in the last episode. So if you have too much of something and it is full, you're not going to be able to get all of the products from all around your buildings. For example, you can see over here, our dust collector was full. Okay, and there it is, it's full again. Well, that's because it's backing up. People are not running and collecting and building stuff that they need to, and it just backs up the production line, and that ties directly into your inventory management. If the space is full, they're not going to be able to put things there, so keep an eye on that. What we want to talk about is this boost. So what it is, you'll see the little arrow, it'll say boost, you click on it, you watch an ad. Now, we know that there are players out there that are having issues watching ads, and this is something we are actively working on. We ask that you be patient with us. We're a super small team. We're working really hard to collect all the information that we can. If you are having that problem, please let us know everywhere you possibly can. Reach out here on our YouTube channel in the comments. Go over to our Facebook page, which is linked down below in the details section. Over to Twitter as well. Social pages are all linked down below. Very easy to get to. And let us know that you're having issues. Because the more information we have, the easier it is for us to investigate and help resolve the issue. With that being said, you'll get 2 times production. If you click that boost, you watch the ad, close out of the ad when you're done, you will get 2 times production. That's going to help significantly because it will boost everything in your colony. One of the other big frustration or pain points that some of the players are having are collectible drop rates. Things like graphene or lighting, optical kits, even photon capacitors. This is a little bit of a balancing issue that we are also currently working on. We're listening. We hear you. Some of the stuff is really tough to get. One of the main ways you can get them is if you have progressed far enough within the storyline and you've opened your expedition center. And as you can see, we have a nice big exclamation point letting us know something's going on down here. So we're going to click on it, and we're going to see it says welcome. This information here is a little vague, and that's also something we're working on as well, is to give more information here to show things like it's finished, you can see here, but also who was in the expedition, what it might have. You click welcome, and you see the expedition comes back with all of these, I like to call them blueprints, but they're the collectible items. You click and hold, you can see, or you tap and hold. You notice in the other video too, we mentioned a lot about clicking. Well, we're actually using BlueStacks to run this on a computer for really good capture, really good high quality capture. But when you're going through playing the game and you're tapping on different things, like I said, it showed you all the blueprints we just received, and then you can do another one. And you can change the different requirements or the level of expedition that you want to send. Easy, and you can see hard, you can see all the different requirements you need. Specialists, you get 5 regular workers, 2 engineers, and 1 scientist. And then the medium is just 3 regular workers and 1 scientist. And then the easy one. We're actually going to put it on the hard one again, and we're going to confirm it. And then it's going to take some time to fill up the supplies, just as if something were building in your colony. You need supplies to fill it up before all of your colonists, your workers, your scientists, your engineers, before they can go out on the expedition. And it's going to take a total of 6 hours, and possible salvaged item between 10 and 12 collectibles we'll get back. So let that run. Now, being that this is a little bit more advanced, one of the other things we want to talk about is production layout. Not so much production chain, because if you manage your buildings correctly, as you can see, we have some turned off that produce a lot of stuff, so we only need to turn them on every once in a while when we need to make something. Part of that layout is where you're building your logistics centers. As you can see, we've expanded down here. There were a bunch of aliens that we went and took out down here. We've expanded our logistics centers down here in this specific group, and this is actually something we'll talk about in a later episode as a transmitter. Another pro tip: when you're expanding your colony and you're moving beyond the basic warehouse here, be sure to draw out in your head, in your mind, where you want to plan these things out in terms of how you're going to build, and be sure to include logistics centers when you expand. For example, over here, if we end up expanding up and over, we're going to build roads and we're going to build stuff over here. We're going to put logistics centers over here too, because what will happen is all of your colonists will move product to and from the buildings to those logistics centers. And when you're building over here, it's going to make production a lot more efficient, a lot more smooth. So essentially, it's keeping them in pockets, because as you expand, you got to think about all of your workers and colonists are going to be running back and forth from the logistics center that has the specific product that they're looking for all the way over to the place that you're building. So it just makes sense to have things kind of grouped together in the areas that you're expanding to. So for future updates, many of the issues we talked about in this video will be addressed in-game. Some coming in this next update that we're currently working on, and future updates as well. We're going to be adding some helpful UI tweaks, notifications and warnings to make sure that your building and progression stays on track, but you're also aware of the things that are going on. Be on the lookout for these updates very soon. And like I said, we want to keep these videos short and sweet and to the point. This way you're not spending hours watching the game. You can spend all that time playing the game. Stay on track here with your building. Share your pictures with us. We'd love to see all the screenshots of the different community colonies out there. Share with us on Facebook, on Twitter. Leave your comments and feedback here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to receive notifications of when we put up new content. Drop a like if you liked it. And the feedback is the big one. Leave us a note if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you want to see something else, something that you're maybe struggling with, something that you haven't advanced to yet that you're curious about, maybe some different layout type stuff. In the next episode, we're going to try and focus on space. We're going to show things like different loadouts for your spaceship. We're also going to talk about the actual space station. If you haven't gotten there yet, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about that too. So we're right about at our mark now for where our content is going to cut off. But we want to stop here and we want to say thank you. We appreciate the support and the feedback the community has been giving. We're listening to it all. We're doing our very best to reach out to everybody in private messages and comments, as well as DMs on Twitter, comments here on YouTube. Check out all the information below in the description. Check out all the social media links. We will see you next time.